But okay, but how are you more comfortable carrying a purse and carrying like a wallet, like in your back pocket? I don't understand.
I mean, I don't always have a back pocket, so.
Well, some of the newer female wallets, they have that little chain that you can.
Yeah, but those things are like that big, though.
But they can hold it like a purse, so it's kind of convenient.
I don't, because like sometimes it's comfortable having a wallet in your back pocket when you're sitting down. So I don't understand how you can carry a purse around and not either be ticked off that you got to carry it around or smacking everybody with it. I'd be hitting people.
Sometimes I do.
Like just walking by someone on the sidewalk, I go, wah! Keep on going.
Just swinging it.
What does Mike do with his yoga pants? I mean,
if I had yoga pants, I'd tell you.
I like Lululemon yoga pants.
I gotta go into the hardware store and buy the tarp section to go get me some yoga pants. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We are good to go. All right. What up, everybody? Last Sunday we played one heck of a game against the Chiefs that we almost won. Today we're going to recap why we didn't win the game, preview the Panthers game, and we're going to fill you in on all of the Denver Broncos news. Well, see, now I know that I can't crack a fat joke while I'm trying to do the intro, or Don's going to be laughing the whole time I'm doing the intro.
Hey, I toned it down, okay? I toned it down. It got to me a lot more than I thought it would.
All right, well, we want to welcome everybody in that is currently watching us live. We are live every Thursday. Let's see if I can do this without having to think about it. 7 Eastern, 6 Central, 5 Mountain, 4 Pacific. Did I get it right? Okay, cool.
Something like that.
14 weeks in, you're right on.
I know. I'm just now figuring it out. So we are live on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and Twitch, and we do have a follower on Twitch too. I checked that out today. I didn't even know you could follow people on Twitch.
Yeah.
But if you are on YouTube, go ahead and take your hand, open it like this, close your fingers, and punch that thumbs up right in the face. Subscribe, turn on notifications on Twitter at MHRT Podcast. Leave us questions, concerns, questions. I said that twice, but questions again on Facebook. Like and follow us on there as well. So that was a good game. Obviously, there were still some things that we didn't do correctly.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as playing I don't know if it was that we played well or the Chiefs just played really bad.
See,
that game could have gotten away from us pretty quick if like that Tyreek Hill touchdown was called. And there was 3 of them 2 at least, the Tyreek Hill, when he flipped into the end zone and got the penalty, the offensive lineman got the holding penalty. And then that touchdown that was bobbled every which way and caught it. And then
how did he not know he caught that, by the way?
Well, I'm thinking he didn't think he caught it because he thought it hit the ground.
Yeah.
Which would make sense because it was close.
And then Bouye stripped it out of his hands when he looked up. When Hill looked up at the ref, Bouye just ripped the ball out. So he saw that the ref went, incomplete. It's more on the Kansas City replay team than anything because the replay team is the one that's supposed to send the call down and say, hey,
they should have been screaming into the microphone.
Yeah. So by the time they saw the replay on the actual Jumbotron in Kansas City and they were like, oh, wait a minute, maybe we got something. The punter had already punted the ball away. So
that's like the coach in Fangio's ear on timeouts.
Yeah. Or not going for it on 4th and 3rd.
No, well,
Andy Reid said he's never had a player tell him he didn't make the catch.
You're right.
Well, okay. The 4th and 3rd. I mean, that's kind of a no-win situation either way, though, right? Like, if he goes for it and he doesn't get it, he gets yelled at for going for it and not punting it. But if he punts it, he gets yelled at for not going for it.
No, I think people would have been more content if he went for it because
No way.
No way.
I'm just saying, from my perspective, I would have been more content because it's like, okay, at least you guys went for it because we all knew you punt the ball away. Patrick Mahomes was gonna get back there because the Broncos defense, as great as they played, they did not make any advances in terms of the second half where they literally stopped Mahomes dead in his tracks.
Well, but that kind of goes
6
in.
minutes and 13 seconds, 2 timeouts, a 2-minute warning. The defense was playing great. The offense was playing pretty well. It has struggles with those short yardage plays. I'm with Mike. If he had gone for that and all of a sudden Mahomes ends up in midfield with 6 minutes to go, it's fire Fangio time.
Yeah, all of a sudden he's a terrible coach. Bad
half of the
situational
quarter was
call.
still remaining. I mean, you have to punt it at that time. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, like with the history of what we've seen this season, I mean, you can understand why he trusts the defense more than he trusts the offense. And that's trusting Locke. That's trusting Shermer. That's trusting Gordon not to fumble it. That's trusting your guard to get around all the way on the pole. Like, there's so many things that you have to trust on the offense to be able to convert that 4th and 3 or 3rd and 3 that I would have punted too. Like, the defense has shown that it can stop them. The offense hasn't shown that they can move the ball that far. So I don't see how you go for it on that. I don't, unless it was 3 minutes left. Then yeah.
KR, what do you think?
I mean, it could go either way, actually. I mean, to me, like, that's one of the problems, I think, is that he doesn't trust him. And you get a vibe off of that. Like, your coach doesn't trust you. So, why even try? Why even, And, I mean, I can see the point, like, why they did it the way they did. But, it can really go either way. I don't know.
And the defense did hold them to a field goal.
Yeah.
It just didn't leave them with very much time to do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and that goes right into talking about him not going for it on with the 3 yards and punting it. That goes into kind of what you're seeing on the final drive, right? Like, within 2 minutes, we've got the ball, we can go in the game, and he throws a pick. So I mean, you can kind of understand why he doesn't trust the offense to convert that when game on the line, quarterback throws the team on his back and goes for it, and he throws a pick. So, and I'm not saying it was a terrible throw. It wasn't great. It wasn't a terrible decision. It's not like I can sit here and tell you how the NFL quarterback's mind works. I am not an NFL quarterback, nor have I ever been. So, I mean, I can only judge on what I see. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen from Drew Lock, but in those situations, that's where you need that franchise quarterback that can put the team on his back and go win the game.
Well, you know what? It just came down to basically to see what Drew Lock can do against a really good offensive team like the Chiefs. And we got a little bit of what we were expecting, which is in terms of, that he wasn't going to play like an excellent game in terms of causing an upset, but he's basically just shown that he's trying to learn, but at the same time, what he says in press conferences is not applying to what we see on the field. Basically,
that's like when Vance Joseph says we had a good week of practice.
Yeah. So
but you did.
So my only critique on Locke so far is that he needs to step up whatever he says he's going to do. He needs to try to take it to another level because he's running out of time. He's only got 4 games left until an actual decision will be made on what his future is going to be in Denver. Now, I don't think that he'll get cut or traded away or anything because that's John Elway's boy. The worst thing that can happen to him is the Broncos bring in either a veteran quarterback or they draft another quarterback, and then they do that whole quarterback competition thing, kind of like what they did with Paxton Lynch in 2017 with Trevor Siemian. So try to find some kind of spark to try to get that engine going. unless Drew goes out and bombs these next couple of games, where then it's like serious. His status is in serious contention. Then it could be curtains for
him. I was telling Christy I was trying to figure out where I was going to try not to fight, but we might as well just go into it. I would say three things to say, and I told Christy that like my thinking is right down the middle, so I'm going to attack both sides, like the ones that are calling for Locke to go and the ones that are saying patience. I'm going to attack both of you. Number one, Locke is not going to go anywhere. He's going to have these last 4 games, and I think he's at minimum at least going to get 3 to 4 games next season before anything happens. 2, there's a lot of people that are comparing Drew Lock to Josh Allen. Knock it off. Like, it doesn't work. They don't. They're different talents, different draft status, different rosters, different coaches, different circumstances. It doesn't work. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to compare Drew Lock and Josh,
anybody? Then how do
you can't.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't really do that. And even if you did, you've got 26 quarterbacks in the Hall of Fame. So you can. That's thousands of quarterbacks that didn't make it into the Hall of Fame. So you can quote Josh Allen, and then you're going to get 6 terrible quarterbacks that you can quote to Drew Lock too. You can't compare them. It doesn't work. And then there's the other ones that are patience no matter what. Blah blah blah. Keep them on here. How long are we supposed to be patient for? Like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 2 years, 1 year, half a year, 6 games, 2 games. How long are we supposed to be patient for? There was I was listening to the Huddle Up podcast the other day, and Chad was saying that Brock Osweiler had said that you can't really judge a quarterback until they're 20 games in. Well, he's 15 games in. Can we start judging yet? Like, his body of work does not really give us a reason to be patient. Like, I understand wanting to compare how to get a quarterback from the 70s and the 80s and the 90s, but it's not the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s. The NFL is not the same. Coaches aren't the same. Players aren't the same. It doesn't work. Different systems, different offenses. They have thousands of more reps coming out of college than they used to. It doesn't work. They're completely different things. It's kind of like in the 80s, 90s when it was running back heavy. It definitely is not running back heavy. They don't even tackle the same anymore. Like, so I understand wanting to be patient, but patience can only go so far. Like, he's getting ready to go into year 3. I don't care how many games he started. He's going into year 3. So how patient do we need to be before we're like, hey, look at these numbers and tell me that he's going to be the future of the Broncos?
So what do you guys need to see from him in these last 4 games to feel confident for next year?
There's nothing that I can see in the next 4 games to make me confident. He's gonna stay, but like, people keep thinking that we want like an all-star Super Bowl winning quarterback right out of the draft. No, we want to see progress. There hasn't been any, none. There's been no progress. If you show me any sort of progress, I'll feel a little bit better. But he hasn't shown any yet.
Well, the problem, like I keep saying, with any quarterback that comes into the league is, as much as we don't want to admit it, Patrick Mahomes has set the bar. So when any quarterback coming in, whether it's Drew Lock or Justin Herbert or Gardner Minshew, whoever it is, if they do not live up to a certain expectation, the first thing people say is, he's no Patrick Mahomes. And then it goes down to Lamar Jackson. He's no Lamar Jackson. Then it goes down to he's no Josh. So basically, there's like this ladder that quarterbacks coming into this league get ranked on. And unfortunately, it really sucks because not every quarterback that comes into this league is going to have a year like Patrick Mahomes did in 2018, because it all comes down to coaching. If you take, and a lot of people keep saying about, had Patrick Mahomes gone to Chicago or Houston, I don't think that Patrick Mahomes has the same amount of success in those systems, because look at how Trubisky has come out to be. And Deshaun Watson, as good as he is, he's also struggling. And look at how many coaching changes they went through. So the coaching has a big part into the development of a quarterback. And we have a defensive-minded coach in Vic Fangio, and we have Pat Shurmur, who's probably still running plays that John Elway can memorize in his head. So, one of those two things eventually has to give. And I, for one, was never really happy with the decision of letting Scangarello go, because I felt that him and Drew Lock were finally getting together on, what works and what didn't, because those 4 or 5 games that Lock started last year, he was playing some of the best football we've seen out of him. And then he comes into this year like completely rookie-ish, like those other games never happened. So if anything, to me, were happened to get done, I think Denver probably looks at what offensive coordinators are out there, and maybe they do another switch, which I and obviously it wouldn't really help Drew Lock to give him another offensive coordinator, but that's what I think Denver would probably end up doing this offseason.
It's just kind of maddening to, like, one side goes way this way and one side goes way that way. Like, meet in the middle, people.
Yeah. It's hard to pick a middle with people that have totally different perspective of him. And if you came into the season expecting Drew Lock to win the Super Bowl, then you're going to be heavily disappointed right now. And you're going to say, well, it's time to just let him go. But if you came into the season and you were, a little more realistic, thinking, this kid's got some talent, we want to see what he has. And it's been a rough season all around for all the players. So again, with the excuses, it's not an excuse. Like, let's give him a real chance. Let's give him all the weapons that he needs. Let's give him a setup like Mahomes has. And let's see what he can do. Let's, wait it out a little bit. Okay, and you can go, let's just look at Tom Brady and Bill Belichick with the coaching. Take those two away from each other, and what do you have? You have Tom Brady, who's
at the Bucs.
obviously not doing well. And you have Bill Belichick that's obviously not doing great either, but both of those aspects you can put together along with Drew Lock, it's not a good fit. And we can tell that it's not a good fit.
Right.
And I don't know. It's hard to say what they should do, because you obviously don't want to give the kid another quarterback's coach. You don't want to give him another offensive coach. It's just, they're in a hard spot, and either way, they're going to do something. So,
yeah, I mean, Shurmur's obviously, like, half of the blame goes to Shurmur. Like, that's just stupid. Like, the best case scenario out of that is if we do get rid of Shurmur, is just to bring Shula up. Like, that would be, so at least there'd be continuity there.
Right.
But I guess my first question is, if you take the quarterback position out and you just look at the roster that the Broncos have, is it a playoff worthy roster?
Yeah.
When healthy, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what other weapons does Drew Lock need in order to make the playoffs if he has a playoff worthy roster now?
I would probably say some type of reinforcement on the offensive line. I mean, Garrett Bowles has played some of the best football that we've seen. DeMar Dotson has played really well in spite of Juwan James sitting out a year. And so far, Juwan James has been looking like a bust so far. And it's something that I kind of critiqued when they brought him on, especially how people in Miami were laughing supposedly at Denver for going out and getting him. But now we kind of see why. Dalton Reisner has been having a roller coaster season so far, up and down. Graham Glasgow would probably be the guy that I would probably maybe look in, not maybe replacing, but maybe try to find some way somehow to kind of get him to see if he can improve his game, because I know he's still under contract. It's only his first year in Denver. And Cushenberry, he's starting to show improvement little by little. So hopefully his investment going into year 2 next year can come in and help out. But I would probably say right tackle would probably be an issue because at this point I don't have any faith in Juwan James. I honestly don't.
See, and I read you on that, but the offensive line is almost a top 10 offensive line in the NFL right now. So, I mean, they've basically cut the sack total from last year in half. And if they keep going the way they're going in these next 4 games, you're going to get maybe 2 or 3 sacks. That keeps them under 30 sacks in a year. When was the last time that happened? Like last year, they were at 42 sacks on the year, and they're at 23 right now, I think.
Mm-hmm. Well, it can't be a wide receiver because Denver has more than their handful with wide receivers. So there's gonna be there's gonna be a big question about what to do with Tim Patrick at the offseason because you'll have Cortland Sutton coming back next year, and Jerry Jeudy's already crying over spilled milk over that tweet he put up the other day.
Which one? There's been a bunch.
The one that he said at least he got his conditioning in.
He's right though.
Kansas City. No, he's totally right. And like I said in another something earlier this week, I don't mind that he's frustrated. He has every right to be, but there are things that you should only state online, and then there are things that you go directly towards your coach. You go to Pat Shurmur, you go to Vic Fangio and say, hey, look, I'm not getting enough targets because you need somebody to meet you halfway. Jerry Jeudy, while he is a rookie, and I understand that he's had his drops and everything, those drops have been he's also had some costly drops during the season. So that conversation goes both ways. But if he can sit down and find an agreement or a way to work himself more into the Broncos offense book, which is saying a lot because the offense so far is not anything that you can say stellar aside from the running game. There are some things that just shouldn't be brought out because now you've opened a whole Pandora's box of frustration. Is there beef between Drew Lock as he loses in the locker room, and the list goes on.
Well, and that's kind of why I was asking, what you think the Broncos would need in order going forward for Drew Lock, because if you look at the roster, even without Cortland Sutton, we're still a playoff worthy team. So why are we not in the playoffs? Like, obviously, half of that goes to Shurmur, but the only other person you can look at is a quarterback. Like, that's the most important position on the field. So I understand people being like, no, we need to bench him, get rid of him. But number one, I think the only reason Drew Lock is still starting is because there's no better option right now. Like, if we had a starting caliber quarterback other than Drew Lock on the team right now, I think he would have been benched probably 2 games ago.
Like a guy like Fitzmagic, right?
Hey, we'll get into that.
I wouldn't say that they need any certain player. I think what they need is time to mesh together, to become a team. I think there's some type of there's something going on in the locker room that's preventing them from being teammates, and they need to bond together. They need time to play together. That's what makes a good team.
They're incredibly young.
Yeah.
And, I'm not surprised that Jeudy goes on Twitter. I mean, that's what people his age are doing.
We all did stupid stuff when we were 20.
You just didn't have
Twitter and Facebook.
We just had gossip back in the day. That's all.
But
well, Glenn didn't have social media. We probably did.
I had a phone with a cord that
the rotor phone.
The giant cell phone.
We may or may not have had one of them. But
it was in the hang-up thing.
It's interesting with the play calling and such that I really thought it was a nice balanced plan against the Chiefs. The couple criticisms were running Phillip Lindsay up the middle when that clearly was not working. I don't know what was going on with the field either with these guys slipping. But one thing too is that the fact that a screen pass has made so much buzz. I mean, Vic mentioned it in his remarks in the press conference. I think it was yesterday, and it was interesting because it came across as kind of a shot at Shurmur. And then Shurmur, even today in his press conference, was like, "We threw a screen pass."
Yeah, only one.
It's an interesting mix of the of the calls, and the fact that the running game was able to keep the defense off the field, and thanks to Melvin Gordon, and that they were able to rest a little bit and not have these 3 and outs. It worked out well. My concern with Drew, and I mean, everyone knows I'm just a huge fan, but my concern is the staring down the receivers. I mean, he's kind of gotten away from the throwing consistently off the back foot, at least in the last couple tries, the games. I think I saw him do it once last week.
Yeah.
But
the throwing off his back foot, off the first interception he threw off his back foot.
Yeah. But the staring down the receivers, not looking at the different options is becoming a real problem. And it's not that he's rushed either. He has a lot of time back there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like, ready to go.
If he can only do the thing, if he can only do that thing that Big Ben does when he looks like he's going to throw the ball and he fakes it just to get, just to try to get a read on the defense, see what safety moves where, what cornerback. If he can at least try to incorporate that instead while he's staring down a receiver, maybe that'll give somebody else. But I agree with you totally 100%.
Probably throw him off. He'd get all confused if he did that.
He's had more time. I think so far his worst game when he got rushed was against Pittsburgh. That was the only time before he got hurt where he was just the pocket was collapsing so fast. But these last couple of games that he's played in, the offensive line has found their way to get a chemistry going and keep a clean pocket. And we criticized Locke for that 2 games ago where he had time to throw, but instead he just kept making irrelevant throws or bad throws or missing wide receivers. So unfortunately, that progression in his biggest weakness is not going. Is not progressing as good as we like it to be. And some people say it could be up to the quarterback's coach not doing his job properly in Shula. So I mean, the blame could go many different ways, but I just think that Shermer, he's been able to utilize Melvin Gordon better than he has Philip Lindsay. I felt really bad for Lindsay. Like, I admire his guts. I admire his courage going out there and playing against Kansas City, but you can tell he wasn't himself. Every time he tried to make a jump cut or, rush, the turf just wasn't helping either. And he'd run into a wall of red. So having Melvin Gordon around actually makes up for the fact that Lindsay just hasn't been having a great season. And, you're getting all that big fat contract you paid him.
All right, let's get into some comments here. Brother 101 looking good. I try.
Oh, yeah.
I think he was talking to me.
I know who he was talking to.
He's talking to your tree. Your tree
Moana. Hey, KR Glenn, 6'10" of Mundungus. Don't you ever put my name last.
What's up, dude?
Keep it that way.
Let's see.
Saving the best for last.
This one. I find the lack of a space between K and R to be disturbing.
Nobody knows Christy's last name. That's why.
Instead of KR, it's Kerr.
Kerr.
Mr. Boggins can't keep giving a quarterback that processes slowly new coordinator after new coordinator. I agree.
Yeah,
that's why I don't like, other than McMahon, I don't think there's going to be any coach that goes anywhere. Well, unless like some more secret crap comes out about Shermer and they're like, no, you're stupid, leave.
Well, we thought that last year. We were all calling for Rich Gangarello's head midseason, and then Drew Lock came on and he lit that offense on fire. Then we were all happy with Gangarello, and then all of the blue, like, hey, Rich is gone. Say hello to Pat Shermer. So,
yeah, but Gangarello was terrible. I mean, he was so conservative. The fact that the defensive coach needs to jump in there and say, no, we're doing this. I mean, that was Drew's first win. Was Fangio telling him, no, we're not kneeling down to go into overtime. We're going to throw a bomb and see if we get an interference call. That's what happened. And look what he's doing in Philadelphia. He's not doing anything. So I don't think he's the guy either. I do think of all the teams in the league, the lack of a training camp and some of these other camps has probably hurt Denver more than any of them, just by virtue of so many young players, so many young offensive weapons.
Mm-hmm.
I think Bawana's you were talking about Glasgow possibly being replaced. We have a 4-year deal with him, right? That
Yeah,
I'm just
4-year
clarifying.
deal.
Okay. And then he's saying Patrick, restricted free agent, a luxury to trade or play with 1 more year and take into I don't know, formula if we let go.
Comp, yeah.
Okay. I absolutely love having Tim Patrick on the field.
Oh,
I
did too.
Me personally, I would love to have Sutton on one side, Patrick on the other, and Judy in the slot. And then Judy and Hamler, or Hamler and Patrick, or Hamler and Sutton switch in and out. I think that would be perfect. Cause they were saying, you look at the other rookie wide receivers like CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, which holy crap, he's having a season.
Yeah.
And Henry Ruggs, like they're all playing the slot. And that, slot is really route run heavy. So that's, I don't understand why they don't have Judy in the slot and Hamler on the outside. Like, right. That doesn't make any sense to me. But again, that's a Shermer thing. So,
yeah.
Let's go with Vic. I didn't expect Super Bowl, but did expect Locke to compete with the other quarterbacks in the West, aside from Mahomes. And Locke is the worst in the league. He needs to have a good game this week. Good seeing everyone. Go Broncos. You would hope that the basement for Locke is Carr. Like I know Carr's having a good season, but you would hope that with where Locke was drafted and the talent that he came out of college with, Derek Carr would be like the basement.
Unfortunately, it's David Carr now.
Did I say Derek?
No. I'm saying, unfortunately, Drew's playing. Oh,
I was
David
like,
Carr.
It's Derek, right?
Yeah.
It is Derek.
Yeah.
You had me. Don't do that.
I was doing a blast from the past.
I'm surprised you knew who he was.
And that's why, like, I was asking, like, if you look at the roster, is it a playoff roster? I think it is. I think we all think it is. And I think that's part of the reason, or most of the reason, why Broncos fans are so upset. Like, the roster is there. Like, I'm not saying that we would, like, go to the Super Bowl, but a wild card berth, like, something. Like, we should be in the running, more in the running, for that wild card berth than we are. And, it comes down to Shermer and Locke. And, again, I don't know if it's those two fighting each other or if they're not a fit. I don't know. That's kind of why I'm thinking 3-4 games into next year. Give them the offseason, give them OTAs, give them all the practice they need. And if it doesn't work.
Well, the problem is 3 to 4 games to start the season. If things go south that early, it's very, very hard to make the playoffs if you're 1-3 or 4.
And this is why, we kind of need to have the conversation. Like, if we are going to have Drew Lock next year, what do we do in the offseason? Now, there's been a lot of talk about Matthew Stafford, and I get it. Matthew Stafford is awesome. I would love to have Matthew Stafford on the Denver Broncos. I think if Matthew Stafford's on the Denver Broncos right now, we're definitely in the playoffs. But with the cap space that we have and with the people that we want to re-sign in the offseason, can we afford Matt Stafford? And I don't think that we can. So that's why I'm saying, if you look at the available, like me personally, I would love to have a veteran quarterback come in and then draft another quarterback. So that way you have competition from a young one, but you have that veteran coming in.
I saw it too. And I love those eye rolls because me and Chris usually agree on them.
I can't with Stafford. I just can't.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, 3 or 4 games, if we have that veteran and Drew Lock doesn't work out in the first 3 or 4 games, you have that veteran that can come in and take over if we need someone. That's what I'm saying. If you look at salary cap space, you're looking at like Fitzpatrick or that's about it. Can you name any other quarterbacks that we can afford?
Well, why wouldn't we be able to afford that? First of all, we have some space available on the cap from our cornerback position for next year. Also, if you don't bring back Jarrell Casey, which I don't expect, between Bouye and Casey, there's $25 million. So you're going to re-sign Justin Simmons,
right? And how much of that goes to Simmons, though? Well,
how much? Probably an extra. He's already making big bucks, so he's probably going to make an extra $2 to $3 million on top of what he's making already, right? So we do have that flexibility. And I haven't once considered replacing Drew with another starting quarterback, but the Stafford one does actually intrigue me quite a bit. I mean, he was throwing 5,000 yards with one weapon. That's it, and no running game.
Well,
and he's relatively young.
Yeah, and you guys were all like, "Oh, Fitzpatrick," and getting on me about it. But I mean, if you honestly look at it, he's about what we can afford. And like, I'm not saying to have him come in and start. I'm saying, like, why would you not want a 16-year veteran to come in and help Locke learn? And
I'm not opposed to that at all. I'm not opposed to him learning under somebody. I'm just opposed to Drew Lock getting benched and sitting on the bench like Paxton Lynch did.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a death sentence for Locke.
There's a reason why Joe Flacco didn't want nothing to do with that last season.
If you bring in Matt Stafford, that's automatically a Drew Lock is going to the bench. Whereas if you bring in I know that people have been talking about like Sam Darnold, but why would you want another project on the roster? Like I get it, he could be good, but we can't even freaking work on Locke. So how are we supposed to do Locke and Darnold?
I know the Jets are acting like quarterback is the real problem, So.
The Jets can't do anything right.
Just to give you an idea real quick, I'm looking at the Broncos opponents for next year. All right, so we obviously have the six games in the division. We are home with the Ravens, home with the Bengals, home against the Eagles, home against the Washington team, and it looks like also home against the AFC East team that finishes in the same place as we do. We're away at Cleveland, Dallas, New York Giants, Pittsburgh Steelers, and the AFC South. So we have a really tough schedule next year.
Pretty big lineup.
Always have a tough schedule.
I know. I don't know how that always works out that way, but my point
who my favorite quarterback is though, like of all time? Alex Smith. I love Alex Smith.
I like Alex Smith too.
Even on one leg, he's better than like half the quarterbacks out there.
Well, wouldn't he be a great guy to have in? I don't know what his contract looks like with Washington, but he would be the perfect guy.
He's going to be a free agent.
I don't think Washington lets him walk.
Washington wants to resign him, but at the same time, he is getting up there in age.
Yeah,
and and even with him being healthy, like I still worry anytime somebody looks at his leg that it's just going to snap in half.
They don't have any faith in Haskins.
No, his value for us would be as a mentor. He was supposed to have been so generous with Mahomes, knowing that Mahomes was going to be taking his job, and it did not affect, from all the things that I've read about him, it did not affect the way that he treated Patrick and really helped him along. I mean, Mahomes has said that this guy has helped him, tremendously in his career.
Well, but if we go after Alex Smith, which I don't think we could afford him either, you get Alex Smith on the team, Drew Lock's not starting. Like there's certain quarterbacks that you go after that if they get him, Drew Lock is done. So that's what I'm saying. Like if we're going to go get a veteran, which I think we should, I think we need to have that backup plan just in case Drew Lock doesn't work out. You're looking at Fitzpatrick. You're looking at Cam Newton. You're looking at
Scott Fitzpatrick on the brain.
Does he get paid every time he drops the Fitzpatrick or Fitzpatrick?
Maybe. I mean, if you can tell me other quarterbacks, like I'll gladly accept it.
Like who's available?
Like we don't want Darnold. Matt Ryan, you're going to have to trade an arm and a leg for. Cam Newton, but no.
Matt Ryan's too old.
I know, but I'm saying, like, as far as quarterbacks go, I can't think of any other ones that would come in and be able to help and be able to take over if we needed someone.
There isn't any. There is none.
And so, then you're looking at the draft. Well, obviously, we're not going to get Lawrence. We're not going to get Fields. I don't even know if we get Wilson. He might, you might have 4 quarterbacks go in the top 10 because people are crazy. So, you're looking at like a second-round quarterback, like a Trask or a Mac Jones.
That's probably going to be first round.
Probably.
Really? Because that'd be 5.
I would not be surprised if he gets picked first round. His stock is rising big time.
Yeah.
I mean, I know we're a distance from the draft, but people are really pushing his candidacy. as a first round pick.
Yeah, I don't. So I mean, if the Broncos take a quarterback in the first round, Drew Lock's got maybe 6 games, maybe. So I
don't see quarterback. I see cornerback.
Yeah.
I mean,
there's no real good cornerbacks in the top 15 though. Like you'd be looking at defensive line or linebacker.
Is defensive line a need?
I don't think so.
Possibly an end.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any good quarterbacks after 5. So I mean, what are you're just talking about?
Well, Vic Fangio is a defensive coordinator, so he could be able to find that diamond in the rough. I mean, Ojemudia is still, he's still rough around the edges, but who knows? He can turn out to be a good pick in cornerback next season.
There's Patrick Surtain and Caleb Farley. Those are the 2 top-rated corners.
Or he could find somebody in free agency to come in and kind of patch that area up until maybe the following year. Who knows? One thing I don't know where I heard this, but it was on some show. But this analyst, it was on Skip and Shannon. He basically said that in any other area of the football field, you can mask the weakness. So, if you're weak at cornerback, you can move people around to try to hide the fact that, you're not strong at that. Offense, too. The only spot on the offense that you cannot cover their weakness is quarterback. So, and Vic Fangio has done a pretty good job. And he's going to have to do that job for these next 4 games because Boulier's out on the PED suspension, and that pretty much wraps up his career as a Bronco, I want to say. So now we're going to have to see what we have in Ojemudia, and hopefully Boulier can see the field more than Duke Dawson, because for the love of God, I'm tired of seeing that man's name chasing people from behind.
Yeah. So for me, it's get a veteran and draft a quarterback, maybe in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th round, somewhere in there. Kind of like if you look at Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts. Like they were able to go away from Wentz because they had another quarterback on the roster that could come in. So I'm not saying to replace Locke. I'm saying get someone as a backup that can fill in, that can still help Locke learn or help teach a rookie what to do until we can figure out who's going to be the starting quarterback. So that's what I think should happen. It's not like I can dial Elway and say, hey, this is what you should do. He didn't care what I think. But that's my I think Locke should get
Elway and I have something in common.
I know. I think Locke should get at least 4 games next year. The first quarter of the season, and then we go from there. But we have to bring in people that can, hedge your bets in the offseason. For if Drew Lock doesn't work out, do you want to go 12 games with Rippon? Like I like Rippon, but not that much.
He's a decent backup, but anything more than that, no. And I think he'd make a better backup than Driscoll and hell, even Bortles. So I mean, Bortles you can probably keep as long as they have that veterancy stipend. He can make some money just riding the pine. That's fine, but I mean, so far Rippon hasn't been any more better than what Brandon Allen is doing as the starting quarterback in Cincinnati. So
yeah. Let's see here. Geez, Richie. Hold on, I gotta go through all of his comments. Vic threw in one in. Locke could learn tons from Stafford. True, but then you're benching Locke, and I don't know if that. I mean, I don't really care about a quarterback's ego. Like they get paid to play, so I don't care. But if you get Stafford, you're not seeing Locke start for at least 4 years.
Well, what player have you heard of and that has actually been the starter, then got benched as a young player, came back and had success? I mean,
are you legit asking me, or is that a rhetorical question?
No, I'm legit asking on the same team. Like a Steve Young was the starter, but then he was behind Montana. But on the same team, like who? I'm drawing a blank as to the player. I can't think of one that had success after getting benched. That would kill
Tua?
his career.
No, not Tua.
Did you see Alex Smith in his leg? Yeah, his other leg got all bloodied up.
Yeah,
he got cleated.
He got cleated right in the shin.
That was an incredible game, by the way.
Yeah, that was a great victory for Washington.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I love Alex. Like, he immediately made Washington a better team.
Yeah,
just by coming in.
Yeah, if it was Haskins, and Washington would be in competition for that #1 spot right now.
Mr. Boggins, draft Zach Wilson, so me be happy, boy. That's kind of who I thought Denver might go with, but at the same time, like, there's so many quarterback needy teams, and Elway does not move up in the first round; he moves back. I don't know if he's going to be available to get. Like, the Colts are going to be looking for a quarterback. The Jags, Jets.
But the Colts are a playoff team right now, so I mean they would have to.
Well, I know, but like they're one of the teams that would be willing to move up into the top 10, whereas I don't think Denver would move up. Like, have they ever moved up with Elway in charge? I'm pretty sure they just moved back. So I don't. That's why I don't know if Zach Wilson's even going to be available by if we stay at number 10. I don't think he's there.
No, not a chance.
Maybe.
Banning. No. All right. So let's
What if somebody talked Andrew Luck into coming back to play football?
Never happened. I was listening to it was the Pat McAfee show, and he was talking about Andrew Luck and if he would ever come back, and he said that with Andrew Luck's personality, there's no way that he would come back and not feel guilty for how he left.
Mm-hmm.
So there's no way Andrew Luck comes back. Maybe a couple years down the road he might make an appearance, but I don't think he'll ever come back to the NFL. Maybe as a coach.
What about Brock Osweiler?
No.
He's completely retired. He's having fun just living off
He said he tried last season to make a comeback, but there was no takers.
The only team that would take him now is the Broncos.
Probably. They did twice, so shouldn't rule out a third time.
We'll take him again, make a deal for half of the veteran minimum.
I mean, he's going to go in the cycle. He's probably going to be an analyst and then probably end up on somebody's coaching staff.
But he's got his own show now, his own podcast, I hear.
Everybody's moving to podcasts.
Yeah, probably bashing Elway.
No, actually, he was on 104.3, I think, The Fan, and they had an interview with him, and he was talking about Drew Lock and what he saw in him and the prospects, and I don't know.
Is that 104.3 The Fan with Mark Schlereth?
Yes.
With that weird pajama billboard picture thing? What was that?
I don't know.
It kind of looked like his face was like put on there later.
We just need to let Brock know that we have a taller podcast. So
yeah,
we sure do.
Barely. Barely. All right, so let's I think we've covered Lock enough. We all kind of agree he goes into next year, but we need to find some way to back him up just in case something doesn't go right. At least I think we agree.
I think he needs a new coach, and I know I get it. You don't want to switch. You don't want to switch coaches again.
I so do.
But I'm so over Shermer. I can't do it anymore with him.
I think that would end up hurting Locke more than anything.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if you get rid of Shermer, and that's why, like, if something else were to come out, like something else from like what OBJ said, if something else like that were to come out, I could see them getting rid of Shermer. But I don't think they bring in another OC. I think they just bump Shula up and then have Shula do quarterback and offensive coordinator.
Even though
that's the only way that you don't mess everything up.
Even though the only time you've heard the name Shula is when we've mentioned him. I mean, I haven't. I don't think I've heard anyone talk about him once.
He's probably been working with Blake Bortles,
who was back at the facility today. So much.
Now, okay. Now, is it just me, or is everybody wondering why? Like, I know that Driscoll gets paid more than most of the quarterbacks, but why are you not using Bortles, who is at least somewhat successful, for 1 or 2 seasons as your veteran backup to help with Locke instead of Driscoll, who came in and played like Paxton Lynch.
Well, we're talking about another offensive coordinator problem. So
Don't forget, there's also Kyle Shermer, Pat Shermer's kid, who's also on the practice squad.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
He's in Denver.
He's in college right now.
I thought he was.
He's a grad student for Vanderbilt.
No, they've got him
I heard
just
they
in
were
case.
thinking about it. Yeah.
I thought he was signed.
It was somebody came on and was talking about. I think it was Zach. He said that Shermer can't even cheat right. Can't even get his son on the team.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
All right, so let's go into the Panthers game. Now it was announced that McCaff, he's still dealing with shoulder and leg issues.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which is fine with me. Like I love Christian McCaffrey. I'd like him better if he was on the Broncos,
Yeah.
but I am perfectly fine with not having to deal with him too.
Oh yeah.
Do we know if Moore is back for the Panthers?
Not yet. I don't know if he's going to be. I mean, they had 8 COVID cases, including Moore and Curtis Samuel. So their number 1 and their number 3 stat receivers. And now the word on this that was out there was that there was a gathering. The team had a gathering outside of regular team activities, and sure enough, that's what happened. So, I mean, can you imagine if
they should make them play without receivers?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, make them play without a line. They got a mobile quarterback.
Well, Bridgewater's coming back to face a Broncos defense that he faced 5 years ago, and I'm pretty sure he still remembers that strip sack from Von Miller that sealed the game against the Vikings.
Let's let the NFL say right now that all of the offensive linemen for the Panthers can't play, and let's trade him Wilkinson at right tackle.
Well, he'll probably be gone next season.
It's like not having a tackle there, and anyways.
Yeah. But this should be an easy win for Denver. They shouldn't struggle.
Yeah.
So
calm it down.
My personal
it's not the Jets.
Not easy.
I mean,
even that wasn't easy.
Do you think they'll postpone the game for them?
Probably not. They're both 4-18.
No,
there's no playoff implications.
Well, and it also didn't happen on Saturday morning. So I mean, it's happened. So probably not. I don't know. I doubt it.
I mean, even at 4-8, it seems like the Panthers have overachieved this year, and they've certainly been in more games than the record indicates. Looking at some of their statistics, I mean, between DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson, I mean, both of them are exceeding 900 yards receiving right now, so they should no problem have over 1,000 yards each. Bridgewater's, his numbers aren't huge, but I mean, he should, even with average games, should be over 3,500 yards for the season.
Who's the backup to Bridgewater? PJ Walker? Is that his name?
The guy that beat the Lions.
Get that guy. I like him.
We can afford him.
Nice. Yeah, we can afford him. Richie, Glenn, where'd that tree come from behind you?
Candyland. No, somewhere online. Just do a search for orange trees, and it's just, it just has just a portion of the Bronco ornaments that we have. So
cool.
It's nice.
That's pretty.
Just careful how you word it. I could see some bad results coming up on that. All right, so let's. What?
No comment.
What do you think the end result of the game is going to be? Score, prediction, who wins, who doesn't? Who gets injured on the Broncos this week that we'll never see again?
No. Shh.
Hey, it happens every week. Might as well predict it.
Well, if it's not an injury, it's a PED suspension. So it's
Shermer's going to get injured.
Yeah, can we draft an offensive coordinator? Is that a thing?
How about a 2-for-1 special with an OC and an ST, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not putting that one up.
I'm gonna go with the Broncos for the Panthers. Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Broncos. It's gonna be 17-21.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Denver too. I'm gonna say 30-17.
I'll have Broncos 27-17.
I'm going to go Broncos 38-21.
Boom.
Ooh.
Yay!
What are
There's-
our standings anyway? Like, who's winning still?
I'm
Who's
getting there.
losing?
Shut up.
Starts with an M.
I can't even say anything because both of my names start with an M. Okay, so Glenn
that's not
is
your
in
real
first. Yeah, that's why I said it starts with an M. So Glenn is in first. He actually was. You went 3-0 last week. So we did. None of us did, especially not me. So Glenn is 27-13, 6'10", and Christy are 24-16, and I'm 21-19. So hey, I'm still in the winning column.
They're still in the basement.
And Christy, you almost pulled off that Jets game.
I know,
That
right?
close. Thanks, Greg Williams.
We almost had a dance today. We almost had a dance.
Would have been good.
0 blitz. What is
I know.
Jiminy? All right, so I just closed it down, and that's got. Hold on. Okay. Broncos, Panthers, Chiefs, and Dolphins.
Chiefs.
Chiefs blowout.
Chiefs.
Dolphins.
Unless Fitzpatrick plays that game, because there's no way Tua can pull in.
I thought I was the only one that liked Fitzpatrick.
I don't like
Everybody
Fitzpatrick, but he
likes
gives he gives the Dolphins a better chance to win than Tua. So I would see Brian Flores doing the exact same thing he did when he faced Denver. If he sees Tua tanking, he's gonna put in Fitz and try to get the win.
Raiders, Colts.
Tua tanking.
Colts.
Don't even ask. Don't ask.
Well, I was gonna say you picked the Jets, so you're probably gonna go with the Colts.
Colts.
Glenn.
Go ahead, Mike.
Raiders.
All right, I'll go Colts. I'll give you a chance.
Yeah, try to get out of the basement, Mike.
Chargers, Falcons.
Falcons. I have no faith in the Chargers.
Falcons.
I'm going Chargers on that.
Ooh.
I always pick the Chargers, and they always let me down, so I'm going Falcons. Chargers suck. every time I pick the Chargers, and they lose 45-0.
Yeah.
It wasn't even a game.
I need
We
to
need
catch
them
up
to
to
get
Glenn.
some wins so that maybe we improve our draft position. Who knows?
Like the Chargers score is what I saw the Jets score being, and it was flipped. It's not even okay.
Okay, sure.
Let's see. I'm still not putting that one up. Panthers. Ouch. Oh, he's got
Richie.
23-17 Panthers. He's got Dolphins,
Mm-hmm.
Colts, and Chargers. The magical beard will win. I don't know. That's a tough one because, like, if the Chiefs play like they did against the Broncos, Dolphins got a shot.
Right. I
So
agree.
I don't know. We'll see. All right, so that is going to about do it for us. We need to go ahead and get off so we can go watch some football. Once again, go ahead and punch that thumbs up in the face. Subscribe, turn on notifications on Twitter at MHRT Podcast. Leave us questions, comments, concerns. Facebook, like and follow on Facebook as well, and Twitch. Oh, and an announcement. We hit 100 subscribers. So thank you to everybody that has subscribed to our channel on YouTube. We greatly appreciate it. Now let's go for 1 million. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't unsubscribe just to spite Mike right now.
Yeah, don't unsubscribe.
It's like the guy
We're
that
gonna
rushes,
instantly drop like 10.
It's like,
subscribers.
oh, he thanked us. Nah, screw you. And unclick it.
it's like the guy that rushes for 1,000 yards. They stop the game. They give him the ball. They toss it off to the side. He gets stopped for a 4-yard loss on the next play and ends up at 997.
Yeah.
None of
All
that.
right, we're going to go ahead and head out. Good luck this weekend. on whatever your endeavors are. Go Broncos,
Oh, yeah.
and screw you.